Every aspect of life in ancient Egyptian culture was surrounded by stories related to the creation of world by gods, and the basis and foundation of this culture was Egyptian mythology. The significance of Egyptian culture and mythology lies in their belief and development of the concept of afterlife benevolent deities and reincarnation. Ma'at, also known as Mayat, in the ancient Egyptian religion is the personification of truth, cosmic order, and justice. And the goddess we'll be talking about today is the one whose name depicts the one who loves Ma'at. She is the ferocious one, the lion-headed goddess, and the destroyer of Ra's enemies, Sekhmet. She is the one feared by everyone, and she is the goddess of the hot desert sun, plague, chaos, war, and healing. But before we begin our dive into the topic's depth, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that you won't miss out on more awesome videos. Now, let's begin. Sekhmet means she who is powerful, and she must definitely be the one you want to keep by your side. The ancient Egyptians used to believe that she had an elixir for every problem. So to stay on her good side, they offered her drinks and food, entertained her, and burned incense for her. Though Sekhmet was a goddess with the body of a woman and a head of a lion, wearing a sun disk and in red dress, when she was in a calmer state, she would take the form of a household cat, goddess Bastet. The ancient ones whispered their prayers into the ear of the cat mummies and offered them to this dynamic goddess, as they believed that this was a direct connection to her. Interestingly, their prayers would even be answered. But who really was Sekhmet? Well, according to the myth, she was the daughter of the sun god Ra, who created her from the fire of his eye when he looked at the earth. This is the reason why she could take the form of the sun god's eye and was his own avenger. All the epithets given to her were equally scary, and she was referred to as Lady of Slaughter. She, before whom the evil trembles, Mistress of Dread, or the Mauler. It was believed that she was the firstborn of Ra and the wife of Ptah, the god of artisans, and the mother of the lotus god Nefertum. The role of Sekhmet was to protect the pharaohs and lead them to welfare, and to protect and guide them in their afterlife as well. But majorly, she was believed to be an instrument of vengeance in that she was created by Ra to destroy humans for not living life according to the principles of Ma'at. However, the Bastet form of her was the total opposite and totally a sweetheart and way more temperate. Sekhmet was labeled as the bloodthirsty one because she was known to enjoy the taste of blood. Vampire enough, isn't it? Coming back to it, this label of course has an interesting story behind it. So this starts with a tale known as the destruction of mankind, and it traces back to the time when gods lived among men. The sun god Ra, who ruled over them, started growing older and weaker each passing day and was going to give up the throne on his own until the insurrection took place where humans decided that he was unfit to rule and tried to throw him off. Well, this pissed off Ra, who took one of his eyes and created Sekhmet, ordering her to strike the humankind with heat close to the sun. She is the goddess of hot desert sun too because of this. The desert sand was dyed red, and the eye killed more and more traitors till her father ordered her to return. But little did he know that she was only temporarily satiated. She grew a liking towards blood and kept on slaying more and more humans. Not knowing how to stop Sekhmet, Ra came up with a plan. He took up a red pigment from the desert, grinded it into a fine powder, and mixed it with her favorite drink, beer, and made up 7,000 jars of red beer and poured them into the river Nile. Sekhmet thought it was all blood and gulped it eagerly, eventually getting drunk and falling asleep. When she woke up, it is believed that she had completely forgotten her purpose of killing all the humans and felt satiated and was rewarded by Ra for her service. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, it has been mentioned that she was the keeper of cosmic balance, or basically Ma'at. But sometimes she pushed it way too far in maintaining the balance between life and death, that she bent to extremes to control the population. The plagues in ancient Egypt were referred to as the messengers, or the slaughters of Sekhmet, and were known to follow her commands. It was said that whoever provoked or pissed her off was reigned with plagues or diseases. With her violent reputation, it is logical that she was associated with war activities. She was adopted as a military patroness by many Egyptian pharaohs, for she was said to breathe fire against the enemies. During military campaigns, the hot desert winds were considered the breath of Sekhmet, and after each battle, a celebration was held in her name to appease her so that her destruction would not pervade. The banners and flags used while marching in the battlefield would consist of the depictions of Sekhmet to express the might of the pharaoh. Now, while she was capable of unimaginable destructions, she had a good side too. One of the epithets of Sekhmet was Mistress of Life, as well, because though she could spread diseases, she also possessed their antidote. She was associated with kingship, and was also said to be the mother of an obscure lion deity named 𝐦𝐻. Some other sources also mention that the pharaoh himself was conceived by Sekhmet. There are several depictions of her nursing different pharaohs like 𝐦𝐤𝐬 and very late kings like 𝐦𝐤𝐤, confirming her gentleness. Her motherly virtues were appreciated so much by Amenhotep III that he built hundreds of statues of Sekhmet and placed them in his funerary temple in the western bank near Thebes. People worshipped her in several ways. She was regarded as the mistress of 𝐥𝐤𝐤 in the Mut temple at Karnak and had a strong cult in the regions of Luxor, Memphis, Letopolis, and all the Delta. Also, at some temples, she was offered the blood of sacrificed animals to placate her rage, as they believed that her contained anger gave her worshippers control over enemies, weakness, and illness. The ancient Egyptian folks, every year on the feast of Hathor and Sekhmet, commemorated the saving of mankind by consuming copious amounts of beer with pomegranate juice. Many statues of Sekhmet have been discovered with barely any statue obtained in complete form. Some of them showed lines of deep and regular tool marks made with hard metal chisels, probably to build something new, but it was observed that the mutilations were made of specific parts only and not overall, which indicated that it wasn't some random accident or demolition. The severity of attack varies, but the target was particularly the head and hands. Though to date back when the alterations were done was difficult, it was said that they might have been done when the statues were considered magical and were neutralized by removing or damaging the hand and head to save mankind. Many questions still arise about the statues. For example, the estimated number of sculptors involved and the amount of work that was necessary to produce hundreds of statues. Why were there so many seated statues compared to a lesser number of standing ones? The ongoing discoveries of statues and other treasures in 𝐦𝐤𝐤 continue to feed such queries. Even if some answers are never found, the statues of Sekhmet will always spur reflection on the role and importance of statuary in the Egyptian landscape. Fascinating, isn't it? That there might be a world beyond our knowledge. A parallel universe, or probably the Upside Down, might actually exist. Or maybe magic is true, and powers that could destroy or construct or redefine may persist. For that, we'll have to discover the world of Narnia in our cupboards, or probably enter Platform 9 3/4 of King's Cross Station. And while you try to explore, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and do let us know in the comment section below how you feel about this video. Bye!